If you frequent high rocks in Royal Tunbridge Wells, for instance, it can be a trifle downer. Rocks were host to the most remarkable structures designed in the oncoming onslaught of the Roman invasion in 42 AD. The fort itself was properly designed and ruled over by King Caradocus of the Caldavini tribe, a reminder that throughout our history we have defended the country against all foreign designs of empire, an outstanding ex of a youngish empire. However, in examining the basis of this tale, it could be brainboxed to gander a lot of the invading forces of the time and their origins. For example, a babe of early mechanical sosh, as was Aulus Plautius. He was assigned by the then Emperor Claudius Caesar to be the top dog of this invasion. He was also given the title of Governor of Britain to head this. Aulus Plautius was a relative of the Emperor Claudius, which of course gave him high standing in Roman sosh. A sosh that kicked off the whole takeover monarchy. It would also have allowed the young upstart to get connections to important peeps within the Senate. He helped in the putting down of the slave revolt in 24 AD. With the help of a Marcus Aulus Celer. This was very useful as it enabled him to bring a consul, to be made a consul, and acquiring a reputation for perseverance and bravery. Short-tempered though, I must say. Short-tempered. Now, having spent many years as a sturdy and trustworthy member of the Gov of Rome, fighting for the rights of unappreciated slaves, Aulus made governor of Pannonia in 42 AD. Now, standing next to the Danube in what would now be Eastern Europe, I suppose, he held several thousand legions against Gauls as a rounder. The army was composed of 4 legions, or 9 Hispania. He had 20,000 auxiliary gangs as well as all that. I mean, quite large, to be honest with you. All this winning led Emperor Claudius to see the good stuff in Aulus and told him at the forefront of his mind to make a major takeover under the kingdom of Albion, or Britain, or Blighty. The great man made him governor of Britain in 43 AD as a result. In that year, Plautius faced a revolt from his troops, as they were in 2 minds of crossing into the unknown land of Blighty. Now, Aulus Plautius rolled up at Richborough, Kent, and faced the screams of King Caradocus and his brother Togolodamus. Is that the word I want? I can't pronounce Togolodamus. Anyway, it doesn't matter. When he got to Maidstone, he got to Maidstone in Kent. Now, the following scrap took place along the river Medway, and the king's brother was nobbled. The king then withdrew his army to the west, and to what is now High Rocks. Now here they met, when the 5th Legion tailed them away a day later and slapped them down. Aulus was a big leader and highly thought of his opponents. Many have thought that this was a weakness in the eyes of ancient Rome. It is said that it was a high sign of the early simp he held for the slaves of his own land, though others regard it as an honourable understanding and respect from the people he vanquished. Early signs of inclusion popping into mechanic diagonal fragmentation. Whatever Plautius' mindset, in August that year he trudged on in his mission and moved further inland, facing further objection from the Iceni tribe of Calamodium, which is now Colchester. Aulus was hampered at the threshold by what we call now red tape. Infancy, outstanding bureaucracy, and just plain red tape. The king there at the time held a wager with Roman forces to allow him to continue his rule as long as it was under Roman law. This agreement held true until Aulus received a tell that the Emperor Claudius had decided to knock it on the head. Romans then flew into an attack because of this headstrong Queen Boadicea, who responded with devastating force. Her force was often also fired by the disrespect, rape of her daughters. Now, Aulus was forced to call for more bods from Rome at this time, and none other than the Emperor Claudius himself packed his bags to be with him. By AD 47, the suppression was won, and the whole of South Britain was overrun and claimed as part of the Roman Empire. Now, it was spring in 47 AD when the celebrated Aulus Gelasius returned to Rome, and a great party or aviator awaited him as he strutted into the capital. Military right from Rome was secured. It can be said that the defeat of Britain, of Blighty, and the after effects of occupation of our land was a travesty of justice and a forcing of a wonderfully diverse and sacred culture. As much as this is true in some respects, the butting in brought with it much that was otherwise beyond our ken at the time. Trade grew up, and political and social things given to the old Blighty. This period started an intro and laid down the jigsaw that led to our world today. Christianity was brought in 300 years later by the Emperor Constantine. Now, all this might not have been possible had it not been for those early scraps that the Roman legions held at the sandstone outcrops of high rocks. Now, again I say, as our winter months badger on and we get colder, and it ever so slightly comforting to know that inside every earth under our feet of a history flows, holding some of the keys to the changing course of our nation. Good old Blighty.
See you later, chaps. Give us a good clicking.
Shakana.